Welcome back, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ben. I run a company called 3B Data Security, and I also help with the incident response threads within Crest. So we're going to now move on to insights from the SOC, from the guys from Obrela, Theofanis and Nick. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, first of all, we would like to start by thanking the organizer for this wonderful event and, of course, thanking all of you for joining us today. Our title is Insights from the SOC, Detecting Malware, Including AI Variants. It works, okay. During today's agenda, we will see some stats regarding the current landscape related to the AI-generated malware. We will then see how we can easily create an info stealer malware by using AI. And of course, we will provide our insights and thoughts from the SOC. Please allow me to introduce us. With me is Nikolaos Tsompanidis, he's one of our threat detection and response experts, and I am Dimakis, serving as a SOC officer. Okay, enough. Nico, the floor is yours.
Nice to meet you too. I'm Nikos. Now we will talk about some basic statistics about AI and AI tools. So let's start by generative AI, which was discussed in the previous talk from Nick Benson. Generative AI is a tool, for those who don't know, that can be used to produce media, let's say video or audio. In 2023, when the Gen AI was launched, the use of deepfakes has doubled every 6 months. Deepfakes, for those who don't know, is when someone creates a media in order to manipulate, to replace a person's likeness with that of another. So you can take, let's say, a famous person or a politician and make this person advertise some cryptocurrency. So you can imagine what you can manage to do with generative AI. Then we'll talk about ChatGPT. I think all of you know about ChatGPT. A huge problem that every professional in cybersecurity and organizations have to deal every day is the phishing. Phishing mails, phishing attempts. With the usage of ChatGPT, the phishing attempts were increased to above 1,000% compared to 2022 to 2023. So you can imagine that already it was a huge problem, and now it became a lot bigger. Also, half of professionals in security and in cybersecurity have a fear about generative AI that it will be used to attack the organizational vulnerability of an organization, let's say the reputation of an organization. And this can be easily proved because in a lot of conferences and workshops, you can see professionals talking about AI and more specific deepfakes and generative AI. Then we will talk about AI jailbreaking. We will talk a lot further and in depth in later presentation. AI jailbreaking is a method that cybercriminals and also typical users can use to make a way to break the ethical safeguards of AI in order to use it to perform a malicious activity. So as it was expected, AI jailbreaking attracted a lot of threat actors and cybercriminals and led to the development of famous tools like Malware GPT and WormGPT. We'll discuss later about these tools. And last, when WormGPT was launched, along with the launch of the tool, a Telegram channel was also launched and attracted over 5,000 followers within a few days. So this statistic shows us that a lot of users and criminals want to use these tools, want to take advantage of these tools and do malicious activities. Now, let's see some groups, APT groups, that were observed to use AI. Let's start with Aquatic Panda. It's a known group based in China that back in the days were observed to use Log4Shell vulnerability to attack specifically universities. This group was observed to use AI in order to generate some scripts for operation automation and also to gain technical and vulnerability knowledge. Then Fancyber, which is a more interesting group. It's a group based in Russia that its purpose is spying and it's associated with Russian Federation. This group appears to use AI in order to get information about more complex and sophisticated technologies like satellite communication protocols and radar imaging. Then we have Imperial Kitten, which is also a state-sponsored group like Fancyber, and it's based in Iran. This group was observed to use AI to get code snippets and phishing emails and spear phishing, and also develop evasive code to evade EDR or antivirus. And the last group, which is probably the most interesting, is Kimsuki. It's a North Korean state-backed group that targets South Korean for spying purposes too. This group appears to use AI to get information about critical infrastructures and technologies like nuclear power operators and think tanks. So you can imagine if a group like this managed to get this information, what impact this group will have in security and in cybersecurity. And they also used AI to generate spear phishing emails. Last note is that Microsoft, along with OpenAI, managed to retrieve the accounts of these groups and disable them.
Okay, in this slide, we want to highlight the fact that malware is now for everyone. It's not only just a hacker's game. AI make malware authoring easy for non-technical, curious individuals, for script kiddies, or even for unsatisfied employees. This is something, as you can imagine, devastating for a company. For example, if you fire a guy and can easily, within some minutes, create a destructive ransomware, this is something that we must take care and be ready for this one. A ominous prediction is that the security community and security experts will encounter numerous, multiple, and unconventional malware variants spawned by a larger pool of individuals, giving their mindset behind the malware creation. So that means that we will have to deal in the next few years with different malwares and different behaviors. So it's quite difficult to identify attack patterns to be able to defend, of course. We have selected to present this proof of concept. This has to do with the polymorphic Black Mamba malware. This malware is an AI-synthesized polymorphic keylogger. And we have selected to present this one because it demonstrates the fact that all these AI models and LLMs can be exploited. And this indicates the urgent need to run faster than the attackers and give our focus on the continuous research into our capabilities and, of course, to our limitations. However, is this truly innovative? Is something important? Is something new? Can AI-generated malwares can defeat our security capabilities? Fortunately, the answer is no. And why? Why we have what is called the malware paradox. No matter how stealthy or sophisticated the malware is, if it isn't executed, it remains ineffective. So we have, if a malware run to fulfill its purpose, we will give some important opportunities for detection in either on the network artifacts or in the memory or in the disk.
Now, we will see an example of AI and malware creation in a demo that we created. So we have a lab, a Windows 10 host, it's a Flare host, and we have an EDR agent installed on it. Now, we asked MalwareGPT to give us code about an info stealer, a Python code. In order to get that, we used AI jailbreaking, and we tried to trick AI to give us code for non-malicious purposes. We asked MalwareGPT to give us code for an info stealer that dumps credentials, cookies, and the system info of the host, and exfiltrate the data on a remote server. And we asked to do that because we want to test our EDR solution. This is the trick that we used to get the answer from ChatGPT. Then GPT gave us the code, as you can see in this screenshot. This is just a function about dumping credentials and cookies of a host. It's a Python code. And here it's the code for data exfiltration and persistence through run key. It's just a simple malware, nothing complex. Then we asked the MalwareGPT to make our code more sophisticated. MalwareGPT didn't actually, on the first answer, gave us the code. It just suggested us some ways and techniques to make our code more sophisticated, like encryption, anti-analysis techniques, and other techniques. Then we simply told AI to, OK, please add these suggestions to our code. And then again, without any problems or errors from the ethical side of the AI, it gave us our code again, but more complex, and it also explained us the techniques that was used to make our code more complex, like encryption and analysis techniques and obfuscation. Here you can see the last code. So yeah, with just simple three, in a minute, actually it took us, I think, 5 minutes, we managed to get a Python code for a simple info stealer.
So we have the code, we have the malware ready for us. Maybe we will need to modify or adjust to our needs or even perform some debugging. Again, AI can assist here us to modify our code to work better or even to work, just to work, but it's OK. We can also use multiple functions. We are selected to use py2exe, a known function, making our code just executable and ready to run. And what is still pending, of course, is the human exploitation part. Again, AI can assist us to do this by providing with us a phishing email. The fun part here is that we asked from ChatGPT to give us a phishing email, but it refused. When we modified our request and say that, OK, we need this phishing email for testing purposes, it gives us the whole phishing email. We can adjust it again to our needs to make it more convincing and ready to send. The blue box highlights the fact that both the phishing email and the code, as Nikos previously said, just created with minimal interaction, with no technical skills, and within a couple of minutes. Next.
So here we will see how this malware will be shown in EDR when it is run. Here you can see this is a UI of an EDR. It's carbon black for those who know. And here we have the host that I mentioned before, a Windows 10 Flare host. Here you can see in the first screenshot the detection rule that was triggered about the execution of this malware. It's browser login data accessed binary from suspicious folder. As you can see below, it's the process tree of the activity. You can see here the invoice April exe. As it was mentioned before from Theofanis, from the phishing email that we created, if you could see, it says, please open the invoice April attachment. You can see the process tree that the parent process is Explorer exe, which means that this process, this executable, was executed manually from the user. And as you can see above, the process path, the file path of the process is downloads folder, which is expected because the user opened his email, downloaded the attachment, and executed from the downloads folder. And below you can see some file modifications that this process performed, which is the first. It says that this process attempt to read browser credentials from this path, which is the login data, the credentials of Google Chrome. And below you can see that it created two databases, which databases will save the credentials and the cookies to exfiltrate it. So based on these file modifications, we created this detection, our detection engineering team. And because it is not common for an executable in downloads folder to attempt to read credentials from this path. If it was, let's say, MS Edge or Firefox in their default path, then it could be extracted. It won't trigger an alert. But this folder is suspicious. And then also, as you can see here, we have a network connection that was initiated by this process, this executable, to a remote IP and a domain. For obvious reasons, they are blurred. And this activity shows the data exfiltration that was performed from the malware in order to exfiltrate the credentials and the cookie. After all this activity, when our SOC analysts do the investigation, they can easily understand that this activity is related to an info stealer, because these techniques, the dumping of credentials, cookies, and exfiltration, it's a very common technique that it's been done by info stealers. Then, from the response side, what our SOC will do in this situation is, for example, ban the hash of the malicious process, isolate the host from the network so the malware infection won't spread internally, kill a process, go live on a host and delete a persistence key or a scheduled task. For this example, you can see here that we created a banned list named Obrela Stealer, and we added the hash of the invoice April executable. And below, you can see that the host, the Windows 10 host, the host name of the host is Flare, as you can see here. It's quarantined. We just isolated the host, quarantined the host from the network, which means that this host won't be able to communicate with the internet or internally. It will only communicate with a EDR agent. Then what our SOC will do is proceed and create a report case to the customer about this infection. You can see the title of the case being malware infection. The criticality of the case is high because we're talking about an active malware infection. And here is the description of the case. We start to explain and describe on the customer as detailed as we can about the infection. We inform him about the time frame, the details of the host that it's been infected, its host name, its IP address, the user, if we have a user. And below you can see what detection was triggered, information about process such as the process name and the hash. And here you can see that we get to a more detailed explanation about the process tree, that it's being probably executed manually because of the process tree and the parent process being explorer.exe, about the activity that this process done, which is dumping Google Chrome's credential. We also mentioned the network connection, the data exfiltration activity, and also we try to provide customer with a reputation of this remote IP and this domain if they are known to internet, if it were used before. And in this situation, we don't have any information about the hash or the IP or the domain because it's a custom malware that we created. But this does not mean that this activity is not malicious, because we know it's malicious based on our threat intelligence and based on the activity, because it's a very common technique from info stealers. And last but not least, we mentioned customer the response actions that our SOC took. And in this situation is again the quarantine of the host and the ban of the hash of the malicious process.
Okay, we will now present the same case in a high level and a more user-friendly way. Initially, the alert was triggered, and our analysts, our SOC team, validated the alert and investigated and correlated this activity as an info stealer infection. So the analyst proceeded with the initial remediation action, the isolation, etc. Next, the analyst had to report the incident case to the customer and escalating via phone call this case to the customer. The customer needs to just log into our platform and check the details and the proposed guidelines. Of course, the life cycle of this case does not end here. Our analysts are still investigating the case by trying to identify the actual origin of the behavior. Here is the phishing email, or to identify possible persistent mechanisms, or to check for IOC hits within the organization. Next, and when the proposed guidelines were followed by the customer, our analysts investigated once again for remnants due to the ongoing infection, and if everything is in place, this case can be closed. Of course, if a case, the case status can change and revert back to the previous status if we have new findings or additional findings to the same or to other hosts. Okay, we have previously seen what AI can assist, in which way AI can assist the attacker perspective. Let's see how AI can assist a SOC. And of course, who is the most appropriate to answer this? Again, AI. We have asked AI to give us 5 examples on how AI can assist a SOC. And it gave us first the advanced threat detection. Of course, AI can analyze a vast amount of data and providing useful insights to our analysts to detect, to identify abnormalities within this huge amount of data. Second, of course, it can assist to the rapid incident response because we can use automated runbooks such as a mass isolation of multiple hosts to prevent further damage to an organization. Next, it's the enhanced efficiency. Of course, AI can assist to reduce the noise and the SOC burnout. There is a term that's called SOC burnout because the analysts have a lot of noise and multiple repetitive tasks to do. So AI can assist on this also. Of course, AI can give us some predictive analytics. For example, we can feed AI models with the previous historical correlation and our previous alerts and incident, etc., and can give us what will be the next possible alert that needs our attention. And of course, scalability, it goes with the efficiency part. If we are efficient, we can scale. What as Obrela we are doing to leverage AI? Starting from the bottom, we are assisting AI in order to prioritize the alert. AI can give us valuable insights to tell us that, okay, from these 10 alerts, you should select this one and take it first. Of course, AI can give us tuning suggestions to reduce, again, the noise. And most of all, AI can assist us on the threat detection, even on user behavior, on a suspicious indicator, and in general to detect attack patterns in the whole people, process, technology levels. Okay, by approaching to our end of this presentation, we have selected to present some questions, some thoughts. And this is the first one. Will AI be capable of generating state-of-the-art malware in the future? We are not sure. Maybe yes, maybe not. Now we are not here. As we can see in our example, both polymorphic, either polymorphic or keyloggers or info stealers are in use for multiple years. So we are not sure. Maybe, but we are not sure. Will artificial intelligence ever be capable to beat human intelligence? And again, we are not sure. Maybe yes, maybe not. Currently, human intelligence needs to provide correct prompt engineering to the AI models to give us some valuable insights and all these things. So we are not sure again. However, the only certainty is that the combination of these two, the human intelligence and AI, will be an unstoppable force. So what we must do as security community and security experts, we must, of course, follow the trends, follow the AI, and let's say join this journey, but with small steps and be careful. That's all from us, from our side. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. If you have any questions, feel free to come here to ask us or in our stand in the exhibition room.